Hello, this is Malaysia's equivalent of Ezekiel bread. And Ezekiel bread is as healthy as bread can get. It's a type of sprouted bread made from a variety of whole grains and legumes that have started to sprout or germinate. Compared to white bread, which is made of refined wheat flour, Ezekiel bread contains no added sugar, no flour, so it's flour free, and thereby it has a richer profile in terms of its nutrients and protein and high in fiber. So you won't be taking a piece of Ezekiel bread and feel hungry 30 minutes down the road as you would be with commercial bread, because commercial bread is made from refined flour and it's very fluffy and loose, and you consume a piece and in no time you'll be hungry again because its satiety value is not as high. Ezekiel bread is different for several reasons. The sprouting process, as you can see, sprouted grains. The sprouting process makes the nutrient profile different, much more nutrients, and also makes the bread and the grains contain less phytic acid, which is a anti-nutrient. Anti-nutrients makes nutrients less readily available for bodily absorption. And the sprouting process also makes the grains and bread contain less gluten.
Well, before we decide whether Ezekiel bread is any good, let's look at the signs of Ezekiel bread. Here are some of the glycemic index of some breads that we commonly have consumed. White bread has a GI index of 70, wholemeal bread a GI index of 69. Why? Because they are made from refined wholemeal flour. They're broken down into refined flour and thereby has a high GI index. Ezekiel bread, on the other hand, has no added sugar or flour. They're made from whole grains and thereby has a GI index of only 36. Breads with low glycemic index. What makes a bread having a low GI? Well, they're made from whole grains rather than refined flour. And whole grains have a lower GI that lowers the risk of heart disease and diabetes. Whole grains has the fiber intact and thereby has higher fiber content when you make bread with it. And whether the bread contains starch or flour or added sugar will determine whether the bread has a low GI or not. The bread is related or came from Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 9 in the Bible, which reads, "Take wheat and barley, beans and lentils, millet and spelt, out them in a storage jar and use them to make bread for yourself." The prophet Ezekiel was instructed by God to lie down on one side for 390 days and to consume at certain appointed times 20 shekels of the bread, which is about 228 grams. It's not a huge amount, but it's a testimony to the nutritious value and that you can survive on just this bread alone for 390 days. Ezekiel bread is a flourless bread made from sprouted grains using traditional methods of soaking, sprouting, and baking. It is one of the healthiest breads that you can eat, as it contains no added sugar, preservatives, or artificial ingredients. Typically, the ingredients of Ezekiel bread contains organic sprouted wheat, filtered water, organic malted barley, sprouted rye, sprouted oats, sprouted millet, sprouted corn, sprouted brown rice, gluten, organic wheat gluten, it does contain gluten, sea salt. The Malaysia's sprouted bread is this brand which I had for breakfast earlier. It's made from sprouted wheat, sprouted soil, sprouted millet, mung bean, oats, lentils, barley, and again gluten, wheat, brown sugar, yeast, salt, calcium salt, and plant oil. The benefits of Ezekiel bread. Firstly, the sprouting helps improve digestibility of the nutrients. Sprouted grains contain less harmful anti-nutrients like phytic acid and may contain less gluten compared to unsprouted grains. Anti-nutrients are compounds found in grains and legumes that bind to minerals and make them unusable in the body, meaning you don't actually absorb any of the minerals and vitamins from the whole grain. Secondly, it's a good protein source. It's higher in protein compared to commercial white bread or wholemeal bread. And it contains 18 amino acids, including the 9 essential amino acids. Thirdly, it improves the vitamin and mineral content. Sprouting breaks down anti-nutrients, which inhibits vitamin and mineral absorption. Vitamin C, B, and E seem to be more concentrated when sprouted. And lastly, it's a good source of fiber. Sprouted breads are made using a combination of sprouted grains and legumes. Both have high fiber content to help digestion and make you full.
So I hope you find this video useful, and although sprouted bread contains less gluten, it still doesn't totally eliminate gluten from the bread. So those who are oversensitive to gluten or have celiac disease may want to avoid this Ezekiel bread. Thank you, and stay healthy.